All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and, often invisible forces in business, corporate culture. It's kind of like the secret code that can make or break a company. So let's dive right in. You've probably heard this line before, right? It's from the management guru Peter Drucker, and it sets up this really fascinating idea. Think about it. Companies spend millions, literally millions, on these brilliant data-driven strategies. But what if all that hard work is for nothing? What if that invisible way we do things around here is just destined to chew up that beautiful plan before it even gets going? And look, this is not just some theory. It brings us to a real-world puzzle, and it's going to frame this whole explainer. I'm talking about Wells Fargo. Publicly, they were all about ethics, all about being customer-focused. Yet behind the curtain, a scandal of absolutely epic proportions was brewing. To really get why that happened, we've got to look way beneath the surface. So, probably the best way to start is with a classic model, the culture iceberg. And it's a perfect metaphor because just like a real iceberg, the most important and the most dangerous part of a company's culture is the part you just can't see. Now this is what most of us think culture is. It's all the observable stuff, the open plan office, the casual dress code, the catchy slogans they put on the wall. This is the very tip of the iceberg. It's super easy to see, but honestly, it's just a tiny fraction of the real story. The real power, the heavy stuff, it's all down here, below the waterline. This is the core culture. We're talking about the unconscious beliefs that actually drive what people do. It's the unspoken rules. It's what people do when they think the boss isn't looking. That is what really defines a company. So here it is, the most important point. The most dangerous place for any company to be is when there's a huge gap between what it says it values, all that stuff at the tip of the iceberg, and its actual core culture. This is where strategy goes to die, and it's exactly what happened at Wells Fargo. Okay, so if this core culture is invisible, how in the world do we actually diagnose it? Well, there's a really powerful tool for this, and it's called the Competing Values Framework. It basically helps us map a culture's DNA. So here's how it works. This framework basically organizes any culture along two key tensions. First, does the company focus more on its own people and processes? That's an internal focus. Or on the competition and the marketplace, an external focus. And second, does it value flexibility and freedom, or does it value stability and control? And that gives us these four main cultural types. You've got clan cultures, which feel kind of like a big family. Adocracy is all about innovation. Think of a fast-moving startup. Market cultures, they're obsessed with competition and winning. And hierarchy is built on structure and process. Now, the key thing here is that no single one of these is best. It all depends on whether it's aligned with the company's strategy. Okay, so now let's apply these frameworks to our puzzle. Let's see what happens when a company's culture actually aligns with its strategy and what happens when it, well, violently collides. Okay, this slide really tells the whole story. On the surface, if you just look at the slogans, Wells Fargo and RBC said pretty similar things. Ethics, customer first. But below the surface, their core cultures were from different planets. Wells Fargo had developed this toxic, pure market culture, where the real core belief was hit your insane sales quota no matter what it takes. In contrast, RBC blended a hierarchy culture, which is all about managing risk, with a market culture focused on results. And the outcome? Well, Wells Fargo's misalignment led to a massive trust-destroying scandal, while RBC's alignment helped it sail right through the 2008 financial crisis with its reputation intact. It's a huge difference. And this just proves a fundamental theory from a researcher named Jay Barney. A strong, aligned culture is a massive competitive advantage. And why is that? Well, because while your competitors can copy your products, they can copy your pricing, but they can't easily copy the unique, special way your people work together to get things done. And you see this positive alignment everywhere. Take Shopify. They have a dynamic adhocracy culture where employees are trusted to act like owners, which perfectly fuels their innovative strategy. Or look at Toyota with its legendary hierarchy and clan blend known as Kaizen, or continuous improvement. That culture is the engine behind its world-class quality. Okay, so we've broken down the theory and we've seen it in action. But what does all of this mean for you? How can you actually use this knowledge in your own life and your own career?
Look, when you're looking for a job, you're not just applying for a role, you're applying to join a culture. So here's a simple playbook to help you look beneath the surface. Go beyond the slogans on the careers page, watch a company town hall on YouTube, and see how the leaders actually talk and what they celebrate. Skim Glassdoor reviews and look for patterns in what people are saying. And then, in the interview, ask this killer question. The answer will tell you everything you need to know about whether they're aligned or not.
Because ultimately, this all comes back to you. There's no such thing as a universally good culture. There's only a good fit. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of environment allows you to do your best work? Do you thrive on speed and just getting things done, or on precision and quality? Do you love collaboration, or are you fired up by competition? Knowing the answer to that is the key to finding a career where you don't just work, you actually flourish. So to close this out, let's look ahead for a second. As AI continues to automate tasks and totally reshape entire industries, a really big question emerges. Will the one uniquely human element of a company, its culture, become its single greatest asset or its biggest liability, holding it back from adapting? That's definitely something for all of us to think about.